Let's hit this in a 3, a 2, a 1. Hello everybody, and welcome to what is going to be the very first guide of Avatar Generations. Now, Avatar Generations just recently went officially launched. It was technically soft launched in some countries, but here in the good old Americas, we didn't get it till just recently. So, something I noticed in my playing of it is that there's not a lot of guides. I mean, it's a new game, so understandable, but not a lot of guidance on where to go. So I figured, hey, why not do it myself? If you want something that badly, then you should be the one to make it yourself. So what we're going to do here, I might do a beginner's guide at one point, but for now, really what we need to do is make a guide of probably the most important thing, which is how to upgrade your characters. It gives you a rough tutorial of that, and in all honesty, there are still some features that aren't even implemented yet. But the most important thing is characters, and the little tutorial it gives you does not really do it justice. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to go to Heroes, right down here, and it pulls up your list of characters. Now there's a whole lot going on here, and like I said, some of it you can't even do anything with. But there's several ways to actually upgrade your characters. The first thing is, of course, its level. Now the character's level is upgraded to... There's two ways, basically, and this isn't unstandard for most games, but there's actually leveling up, and then there's ranking up ascension. Actually leveling up requires these XP training scrolls. These training scrolls are the bread and butter of getting your character leveled up. Now, where do you find these training scrolls? Well, a lot of them you can find just in playing the game. That makes sense, you know. But if you're looking for specifically finding them, you can find those in these training ground levels. These training ground levels, you can do them 5 times each day per stage. They're kind of your basic daily acquisition of getting these scrolls. This XP is just more so for your account than for actual gameplay. This would increase how much energy you have. So this is what gets you your character leveled up, and you do that in increments of 10. Now, what do I mean by increments of 10? Well, if you notice here, we're at 37 out of 40. That's because I am currently on Ascension level 3. Ascension is basically the upgrade to your character that allows them to reach higher level caps. That's the second aspect of getting characters stronger as far as their level goes. You'll notice there's 3 different items here. This item is probably going to be the most intuitive to find, the elemental parts. You will find those back in the activities and go to the elemental quests. For the case of Suki, she is referred to as a special element, which is funny because that means that they don't have any bending abilities. So I guess special just means no powers, which, yeah, we'll go with that. So what you do from here, you've been leveling up. Well, what other ways are there to power up your characters? Next, we're going to look at the skill level. Now, the first one is pretty simple and self-explanatory once you start doing any summoning. Skill level is the level of your skills. Now, how do you crank up this level? You have to get duplicates of the characters. For 4 stars, this can be relatively simple. For 5 stars, not so much. So as you can see here, skill level 1 out of 6. To fully level Suki's skills, I would need to get 5 more copies of her. That can be challenging, considering that she is a 5-star character who is very rare and isn't even in any of like the normal banners, which we can get into in another video as far as summoning goes. Now the nice thing is, there is a workaround. You don't have any current skill coins. Yeah. Fortunately, there is such a thing as skill coins that don't have a character attached to them. Probably the most reliable way to get these are through the summon store. Skill level token. Increase skill level of a character 1 level. You may notice how to get this item, this little seed looking item. You can get that from every 200 summons that you do, with some caveats. There are a couple banners that don't count towards that, but every 200 summons you'll get one of these little seed items. You can spend that on a skill level coin. Skill level token, excuse me. You can also spend these. The trick with these is they are mythic coins. Those are if you had duplicates of an already fully leveled 5-star character. Good luck getting that. Let's just assume that's not going to happen very often. Now there's another aspect to skills, and it took me a while to actually notice this one. This is for the Kyoshi Warrior 4-star. 4 stars are much easier to get duplicates of. You won't want to use the skill level tokens on 4 stars because you'll probably get duplicates, or there'll even be an event character like this Kyoshi Warrior, where you would get it totally free to play anyway. But Suki, 5 stars, you'll want to use those coins if it's a 5-star you like, and if the effects are something you're interested in. Now there's another aspect to this. Skill mastery. Not every character has a skill mastery, I've noticed. One example of that being Agni Gai Zhao. He does not have a skill master thing. That could leave room for buffs in the future if they decide to do that sort of thing. But if you look at the skill mastery, this has quests. The characters that have skill masteries have basic quests that you need to do. In this case, I've already leveled her up once. That's why we're trying to unlock skill mastery level 3. Using her in adventure battles, adventure paths, power levels, etc., with probably one of the major gatekeepers being this boss battle one. That one I've noticed is usually the last one to get completed. Now, what does skill mastery upgrade? It upgrades one of your skills. Not all 3 of them, just one. In this case being her passive. You'll notice I already have Mastery Level 2 unlocked. But there are 4 levels you can do, so basically, we complete all these, we get to Skill Mastery Level 3, and then once more for Level 4. Nice thing is, that's just basically playing the game. It's not like a luck-based thing, so that helps. Now there's 3 more aspects that are arguably even more important. The first one being these arts. Now what these arts are for is giving your character extra stats and extra abilities. Now if you've played a lot of mobile games have this sort of thing. If you played Genshin Impact, it would be in the form of artifacts. Very similar concept. These arts are 6 different items that you get in the game, and each art has a type of effect when you get a set. If you have 2 of a certain set, you get a certain ability, 4 gives you another ability, and 6 gives you usually a boost to that ability, the previous sets, plus an extra effect. Now this is not always the case. I think there's one set that is lower. I think it's the crit rate one, actually. That one doesn't usually have an extra effect. Yeah, it just has increased crit rate by 35%, which in and of itself can be pretty good. Now you'll notice that some of these are level 1. If you wanted to increase the level of one of these items, you would hit upgrade, and you would use these little flowers. I do not have any of the little flowers. I have used them all. Through those flowers, that's how you get these stronger and you get stat boosts. I upgraded a few for the sake of some event quests. Honestly, I would recommend not going too crazy on them until you can unlock the later levels. Now, of course, this is a very high difficulty level, as far as these stages go at least, but once you start getting these 3-star artifacts, from there you can start leveling them up. The next part are the supports. Now what are the supports? The supports are basically your animal buddies. There's a few different versions. There's 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. Makes sense. Now, what these do is these grant stats and they grant an ability. The stats and abilities don't work the same way. You will get the stats if you equip the character to, or the support to the character. So let's say, for example, looking at my Kyoshi warrior here, I have the Owl Wolf. She is getting these stats. She does not get this ability. This is just describing a separate thing. When you get this ability is when you actually put them on a team. So for example, we're going to go to one of the missions I just did earlier, and we're just going to go to the team builder page. Down here in the support section is where you actually get the effect. You do not have to have the owl on one of these, the Owl Wolf. You can have 4 totally different supports and then throw him in there if that's the effect you want. When you add it to a character, that's just getting you the stats. Now there's something I want to emphasize about these supports. Do not overestimate the importance of a 5-star support. Because here's the kicker with supports. They work a lot like characters, where you can only get them to level 10 at base. Now how do you get them higher than level 10? Duplicates. And there are no skill coins for supports. So, what does that mean? That means the 4 stars and even the 3 stars are going to be your best friend. These guys are much easier and much more consistent to acquire. Like, for example, this Owl Wolf, I've gotten a few versions of him, so his skill, or his level cap, is at 30. That's going to blow this poor Badger Mole out of the water. So that's something to keep in mind, is don't overemphasize the importance of 5-star supports, and certainly never summon specifically for them. I know the Inagi looks cool, I learned that the hard way. Don't summon for supports. Go with the 3 stars and the 4 stars. I might amend that for a later game, but especially for early game. A good level 3-star will get the job done for you. So when you're upgrading him, you've got different food. You can also put an actual character in there. You can feed Appa to the Owl Wolf if you wanted. Each support has a specific requirement. In this case, only an offensive hero can use the Owl Wolf. So while the Kyoshi warrior is an offensive hero, Suki is a defensive hero. She cannot use the Owl Wolf. There are other supports she'd be able to use. I don't think I even have one that she could use. Well, actually, she could use Appa. Appa she could use because she actually meets the requirement of being a Team Avatar character. But again, all you would get from that is stats. You would get basically the 70 HP and the 4 defense. You upgrade it, you increase the stats. When you get duplicates, the duplicates will not increase the stats, but will increase your level cap, and it will increase the effect of your extra ability. So in this case, it says Team Avatar gets 50% health boost. That percentage will go up if you get duplicates. And then finally, the Relic. The Relic follows a very similar thing to to the supports. Honestly, they're almost indistinguishable. You get the stat boosts, and you get an effect. The difference is that you actually do get the effect of the Relic for the character that has the Relic equipped. Each character can have 1 Relic equipped. This particular War Fan here, I got this from the Suki banner. I got lucky and got a couple. Same thing applies to the Relics that applies to the supports. Never summon just for a Relic. Get yourself a good 4-star Relic, even a 3-star Relic, depending on the effect. There's a few that are pretty good. Get your duplicates. Get that skill cap up. Or not skill cap, the level cap. Once you get that, that really gets the job done, honestly. This one, first of all, it's neat looking, and I actually was lucky enough to get one more. So, for this particular case, yeah, I'm using it. It's also not as egregious as the supports because you do get the effect. You could have a level, you could have a level 50 Owl Wolf, and that's fine because you don't get the effect anyway. Whereas this one, you actually do get a cool effect, and especially for this one being Suki's, for lack of a better word, best in slot relic, you might want to keep that one in mind. But again, never summon for relics, never summon for supports. If you happen to get it while you're summoning for a character, great, good job. But good luck getting any duplicates for it, because at least for the Suki banner, the Inagi, which is a support that usually goes with her, it's even more rare than the character. If you look at the rates here, it's at a 0.5%, literally half the rates of Suki herself, and a whole third of the rates of the Warfan. You might never see this in your life. Don't worry about it. There are plenty of 3 and 4 star supports you can use. 5-star relics, you might get away with using a low 5-star relic if the effect is really good, which in this case, it plays well with her. And that's really the breakdown of how to upgrade a specific character. But that is the current breakdown. That's really, the bread and butter is just getting your characters powered up. If your character's strong, you can get through the game. The end. And that's what we came here to talk about. I am going to try and do more thorough breakdowns of other aspects of the game, but I felt like that's what a lot of people would have the hardest time figuring it out on their own, because it took me a second to figure it out on my own. And yeah, that's really about it. Hope y'all found this helpful. I'm going to try and put out more info on this, and while we're at it, maybe I can actually increase my confidence on getting these videos pumped out. Hopefully I didn't sound too cringy here, but we're getting there.